Y'all, by the title, you already know what it is. It's about the Euphrates, and that's what we're going to talk about. So, the Euphrates, in case you don't know, has just dried up. It just dried up, y'all, pretty recently. So, what I'm proposing is, what if I were to tell you that the Euphrates in the Bible and the Euphrates in the Middle East are not the same thing? All right, there's the Euphrates right there. We got the Euphrates in Spanish, the Euphrates in English, river. So you're gonna have a lot of questions, just like me. I had a whole lot of questions, like what if this is the Euphrates? If how do we answer about the prophecies about Esau, people land being desolate, people dwelling in the land? I'm gonna tell you right now, all my questions actually got answered. But right now we're gonna deal with just the Euphrates because that's the topic right now, the Euphrates, and because it just dried up, people are looking for a lot of things to go down, right? So I'm gonna show a reference of another place that's called Euphrates, and then we're gonna go over prophecy, and you be the judge. You can check and see for yourself what based on these things that I'm going to be showing is the biblical Euphrates. All right. So, we're all learning. Just kind of take this journey with me as we kind of find out and grow on new discoveries. Some people, black people, a lot of them, and other, indigenous people find out that who we are, and when we first found out who we were, it was like, wow. But then when there was archaeological, biblical, prophetic evidence, then it was like, okay, this is an actual thing. So, gotta take the journey, man, and hear it out. So this is the Encyclopedia of Missions. And this is page 329. And it's about the Dahomey. And it says a section of the slave coast. I'm going to start from the Dahomey. A section of the slave coast, West Africa, between Little Popo and Porto Nova. It is now a Portuguese protectorate, though the king is still absolute monarch. The chief city, Wida, Gliwa, Fida, Hebeda, Ada, was formerly called. Okay, now just kind of give a backstory. Wida, Fida, that's all that location in Negro Land. A lot of people are familiar with Negro Land. If you're not familiar with Negro Land, you can check that out. See the maps, what that whole thing is about. It's called Wida. But according to this encyclopedia, it was formerly called, before it was called those names, it was called Judah. And its inhabitants were said to be Jews, while the river Alela, it's an A right there, it looks like it's whited out, Ephra was spoken of as the Euphrates. So it says was spoken of. So before it was Ephra, Alela, it was spoken of as the Euphrates. During the slave trade, Dahomey was famous, so it goes on to talk about that. So that's the Euphrates right there. So we see the Euphrates, West Africa, boom. Okay. So how do we know which one's the real Euphrates, y'all? How do we know? How do we know Middle East? I mean, that's the common one. So I mean that's what people are saying. Why do we know this new? How do we know it's not just it's just the coincidence, right? Because we see that the original name for this river was the Euphrates. Is it a coincidence? Let's see. So we're gonna go to a biblical prophecy, and we're gonna compare. And you can. Everybody's got their own mind. Be the judge. I'm just presenting this, right? So This is we're gonna go into it, and I want to bring this out real quick before I go. This is support the scriptures, right? So this is where do I start? This is a National Geographic magazine. This is page 395, and it says, "In this kingdom of Emmanuel, there enters a branch of the river Euphrates. Niger, the friar, does not confuse us with the Mesopotamian Euphrates, but assumes two rivers with the same name. This river forms three branches, one entering the middle of the kingdom of Emmanuel, and the other branches flowing around the river kingdom. The width in some places being 2 days' journey. When I crossed the great river, I made a long journey along its banks, which are very populous," referring evidently to the river Benue. So it's called the Euphrates. It's the present day Benue River. Y'all can look that up. So that's what this is all. This is right here. It's the Benue River, formerly called the Euphrates, a tributary of Niger. So these are two sources right here. But the most important thing is the scriptures. So I want y'all to listen very, very, very carefully. It's very important, like mucho importante, that you listen very, very carefully at this. Very important that you listen very carefully to this. This is Jeremiah 13:6. "And it came to pass after many days that," and it's the capital Lord. We know that's, I'm going to say Yahweh. People say Yahweh. I just use the vowels to use a more ancient name. People use Yahuwah, but when I say Yahweh, that's what I'm talking about. The capital Lord is his name. So Yahweh said unto me, Arise, go to Euphrates. So Yahweh, the Most High God, told, and that's what that's the character in this right here is Jeremiah, the author. "And take the girdle from thence, which I commanded thee to hide. Then I went to Euphrates, and digged, and took the girdle from the place where I had hid it. And behold, the girdle was marred, it was profitable for nothing. Then the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Thus saith Yahweh, after this manner will I mar the pride of Judah and the great pride of Jerusalem, this evil people which refuse to hear my words." So I want this to be as vivid as possible. He's telling him to go to Euphrates. And while he's at Euphrates, he's like, just stay there. But I just want to tell you what Israel's doing. And then I'm going to let you know why you're at the Euphrates. This is what God's doing right now. He said, which refuse to hear my words, which walk in the imagination of their heart, and walk after other gods to serve them and to worship them, shall be as this girdle, which is good for nothing. For as the girdle cleaveth to the loins of a man, so have I caused to cleave unto me the whole house of Israel and the whole house of Judah, saith Yahweh, that they might be unto me for a people, and for a name, and for a praise, and for glory, but they will not hear. Okay. That's wow, Israel got to do better on that. So this is verse 12. It says, Therefore thou shalt seek unto them, speak unto them this word, Thus saith Yahweh, God of Israel, every bottle shall be filled with wine, and they shall say unto thee, do we not certainly know that every bottle shall be filled with wine? Then shalt thou say unto them, thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will fill the inhabitants of this land. Now, where's this land? Now we'll get into why he went to Euphrates. Jeremiah went to the Euphrates and he said, I will fill the inhabitants of this land. The land is at the location of the Euphrates. Even the kings that sit upon David's throne. So we got the kings of Judah and the priests and the prophets, the royals of Israel, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with drunkenness. And we got the other inhabitants in Jerusalem, and I will dash them one against another. So the fathers and the sons together. So we got the people are just bashed up, like they're just stacked up around each other, on each other. Saith Yahweh, I will not pity, nor spare, nor have mercy, but destroy them. Hear ye and give ye ear. Be not proud, for Yahweh has spoken. Give glory to Yahweh your God, before he cause darkness, and before your feet stumble upon the dark mountains. And while ye look for light, he turn it into the shadow of death, and make it gross darkness. But if ye will not hear it, my soul shall weep in the secret places for your pride, and mine eyes shall weep sore, and run down with tears, because Yahweh's flock is carried away captive. So we see right here that this whole prophecy is about is Jeremiah going to Euphrates. Israel sinned. So the house of Jerusalem, the priest, the kings of David are all going to be stacked and bundled up, dashed up against one another at the location of the Euphrates and carried off into captivity, carried off captive. So they're going to be transported from the Euphrates, with the location of where the Euphrates is at, and carried away captive. That's very clear. You can read from verse 1 if you want, all the way down to here. It's very clear. Very. So, what I'm going to show is that this event right now, Israel, Jerusalem, being taken from the Euphrates and carried away captive, being stacked on top of each other, actually took place. What if I were to show you that? So I'm gonna show you that, and then you be you could say someone, but you see. So this is a map of Negroland. Pretty popular map. This is Negroland 1747 map. Okay, boom. And then this is the infamous Kingdom of Judah on the Negroland map. You see it right there. That's the K, the ING is smaller. But it's Kingdom of Judah. And we see, remember we were just reading about the Wida, and this is also the slave coast. So when we talk about the slave coast, this is where a good majority of African Americans come from. Some of them come from, transported from Europe, different parts, but a good bulk of the slave coast would be here, because it's marked slave coast, right? So Kingdom of Judah, I want everybody who's watching to just get a feel of this location. Look at that loop right there with the hole in it, right by to the right of Kingdom of Judah, to see the location. Okay, This is where they were stacked on top of each other, and it's a kingdom. Okay. So now we just looked at a 1747 map. Now let's look at that same location in an earlier map and see what that location is called. So this is 1707. 1707. Okay, so moving. So this is the same location, the exact same location, y'all. So this is the same location, and if you look there, what does it say? It says the Euphrates River. So, yeah, I mean, y'all, if you guys are seeing this, the kings of Judah, the royals, were taken from this location, stacked on top of each other, and the name of the place is that Euphrates we read about. Well, this is it. It was taken from the Euphrates. So the scripture says that the royals of Israel and the people of Jerusalem will be taken, stacked, dashed up against one another, and carried away captive in this location. It says the location. In this location, it's the Euphrates. He even had Jeremiah go to the Euphrates. He said, in this location, this is where it's going to happen, because Israel sinned. History says that this particular Euphrates had the kingdom of Judah, which has the kings of Judah and the royals in Jerusalem. We know how the story in the slave coast goes. They were stacked on top of each other, dashed up against one another, and carried away captive from a place that today is called the Euphrates. Is there any evidence that anything like that happened in the other Euphrates? And if anybody can explain to me, you can leave a message in the comment why this prophecy adds up perfectly to the T. To the T. Yeah. And that's all I wanted to share with you guys. It's the Euphrates. Just want to put that out there. You can, check it out. All right. Y'all be blessed. Shalom. All praise to the Most High.